Hey guys, what's going on? It is, what's today? Friday morning, about 4:30 in the morning. Couldn't sleep, so I figured I'd come out and sharpen some knives. It's getting close to hunting season, and a lot of guys at work bring me their knives for me to sharpen them. Had one guy bring me a couple knives in. These are ones he uses to gut his deer. This is a little homemade jobber that he bought, made out of an old file. It's fatter than hell. It's going to be fun to sharpen. And the edge is pretty hacked up. But he likes the knife. He likes to put his finger out here on the tip when he's skinning it. That way he don't poke through the hide with it. He uses his finger as a guide, so he always knows where the tip's at. So I'm going to take this down to about an 800 grit. I want to leave it a little bit toothy. It'll cut that skin better. Then the other knife is just a old timer, a Schrade old timer. It's a nice little knife, but the edge needs dressed up quite a bit. It's scratched to hell. Looks bad. Neither one of them are sharp, and they won't shave hair. Probably wouldn't cut paper either. So anyway, I'll get this mounted and start sharpening it up. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on how to do this. There's a ton of videos out here on YouTube that you can watch if you want to learn. The owner of Wicked Edge, that's what I'm using, has a bunch of videos that are great. I think his name's Clay, if I'm remembering rightly. But this one I'm going to sharpen fairly steep. I'm going to go about a 18 degrees per side. And to do that, I just put one of my stones in, lay it up to the blade. I've got a level here, so I make sure it's zeroed out on my table, which it is. I stick it to the blade, and we're at 19 right now, so I got to go in a little bit. Like I said, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on this, just because there's a lot of really good videos out there that you can watch and learn. But this is the best sharpener I've ever used. It works great. Okay, so now we're sitting at 18 degrees there on that side. And 18.25. One thing I don't like is this damn key strips out. And the owner said he would send me a new one, and I don't know if he just forgot or what, but it didn't happen. They also have a really good forum, and he's pretty active on that. So if you have questions, you can go there and post them. We've got quite a few guys on there that really know this system and are real helpful. So we're at 18 degrees per side right now. I'm just going to mark this existing edge with a marker. and see how close it is. Yeah, it's a little bit steeper than that. It's right on the money on that side, so we'll have to clean this edge up a little more than this side. Let me kind of zoom you in. Well, my stones, I made a rack for all my different stones. They're diamond stones and ceramic, and I got balsa wood and leather. So in the diamond zone stones, I can go from 50 grit up to 1500. Then I have some ceramic ones, which are 1.4 and 0.6 microns. Then the balsa, and then the leather strops. Leather strop goes down to 0.5 microns, which is super fine. I can't remember what it is, 40,000 grit, something like that. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, let me move you in. So since this edge is so rough, I'm going to start with, well, let's go with an 80. Now let's go with 100, see what that does to it. One thing I've learned through the years sharpening, I'm pretty good freehand. I've got a nice set of Arkansas stones. And one thing I've learned is consistency is the key to getting a sharp knife. Make sure you hold that angle the same every time. And with this system, it's pretty much fail proof. I've used a couple different types, and this is by far the best I've ever used. The only bad thing about it is it's pricey. I've got probably close to $1,000 into this system. But when I was making a lot of knives, it was definitely worth it, because I use this to establish my edge. You know, I used to do it on the belt grinder, but this way is faster, a lot more accurate. It looked better. And you can go a fine polished edge, or you can keep it a little bit toothy. I've got my knife so sharp that I can take one of my beard hairs and just drag it on the edge of the blade, just touch it and it'll pop. Cut it right in half, or drag it on a steep angle and you can actually whittle a hair. I'm not going to get these quite that sharp, but I may go grab my pocket knife and do it. So I'm going to start out with the scrubbing motion and just work one side at a time. Just up and down. This one's got a real sharp, fine point on it, so I want to be real careful not to roll the edge on that. And I'll keep with this scrubbing motion until I can feel a burr start to raise on the edge. Got just a little bit one right there on that curve. Starting to pick it up right there. Real good burr there. All the way to the tip. So need a little bit more work back here in the back. Alright, that feels good. Now we'll start going, each side of it, one pass on each side. This just helps even everything out. Do about, I don't know, 50, 75 passes. Alright, that feels a lot better. Looks a lot better. So now it'll cut. Now we'll step up to the 200 grit. Basically do the same thing over. Start with our scrubbing motion. Damn thing moved on me. Must not have tightened her down good. I didn't. I remember now. That looks good. So do your scrubbing motion and kind of be consistent between each side. Go down and back one or two or three times, and do the same thing on the other side. So with this scrubbing motion, what you're doing is getting rid of the marks from the previous grit. And I'm kind of concentrating right in this area. Take that down just a little bit more so it kind of evens everything out. your magnifying glass. What I'm looking at is making sure all my marks, my lines are going up. If there's any going forward, then I know that's from the previous grit. And I need to work it a little more. I can see a couple right in there. But overall, that looks pretty good. Tip still looks good, so can't remember what they call this motion. Pedaling motion, rolling motion. Holy cow, it's hot in here. Let me grab a rag so I can wipe my sweat off my face. Normally I'd have the cooler going, but it's right behind the camera and you wouldn't be able to hear me. So now we'll go ahead and switch to the last one we did was 100 grit. Or 200 grit, so now we'll go up to 400 and then 600. So 400 is the yellow, 600 is the green. And in between stones, wipe down the knife so you get all the fine particles off of it. And that way you won't mix up any of the 200 grit stone with the 600. That's feeling pretty good there. So we'll go back to the scrubbing. And I think I'll go ahead and pause the video. I'll work this one up. I think I'll go up to just 1,000 grit on this one. He wants it just a little bit toothy, but not as toothy as what I'm going to do on this other one. So I'll pause it. We'll be back when we hit 1,000. Okay, I'm on my final passes on the 1,000 grit stone. It's looking a lot better. Nice and sharp. And we'll call that good. Oh yeah. Let me zoom you out. Take this out. She should shave hair now. So nice and sharp. That should skin a deer real good. Alrighty, I'm going to work on the other knife now. So we'll be back. Alrighty, we just finished sharpening this one up. This one I just took to a 600 grit. That's what I call a toothy edge. But it looks pretty damn good. Let's see if it'll shave. Yep. My wife can always tell when I've been sharpening knives because I end up shaving all the hair off my arms. Well, that ought to work really good for skinning. Okay, now, where's my little pocket knife? It's a little case pocket knife. I've had this thing for, frick, I don't know, 35 years probably. And it's pretty dull. I use it at work every day. Okay, just finished sharpening this one up. Did a small blade, 600. Actually, I just started with the 600 grit because these blades are so thin that it don't take much to sharpen them. And then the bigger blade that's there, I took that all the way up to 0.5 microns. Started at 800 grit, worked my way up. So let me zoom you in and see if we can whittle some hair. Okay, that's about as zoomed in as I can get with this camera. And I've got one of my beard hairs that I shaved off the other day. Beard hairs are a little bit tougher to do because they're thicker, but let's see if I can make this work. Hopefully you can see that popping off there. That cut me. Come on, fingers. So yep, that's pretty damn sharp. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you want a good sharpener, I highly recommend these Wicked Edges. We will see you in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.